Alright, in the garage, gonna do some minor rewiring. Had a follow-up rental inspection because you remember how I originally powered this fan via extension cords. Then I had another cord wrapped around this beam to this workbench. Now the inspector said I had to remove those extension cords. So I ran a new wire here to that outlet there that powers the workbench. Then I got 14-2-2 with ground. That means there's 4 conductors plus a ground. And tied it in over there, so that's now legal. There's a couple minor issues he wants. He wants this wire here moved up, like over here or up here. So I have to take that junction box, disconnect it. I'll bring it over to here somewhere. Then run it along the beam up there because he doesn't want it underneath here. Then this cord here, it goes to that shop light. He wants to mount it to this beam here, or one of these beams. Tow truck had to go by. So I'm thinking either mount an outlet here or mount it here somewhere or there. Then I can just plug, and I can just bring this cord up, nail it to there, bring it up. The same thing with this cord. So having it tangled here, and I can just eliminate this. So I might just do that, put the thing over there somewhere. Then I can just have both plugged into there. But another rewiring I got to do, because you know this is controlled by a GFCI. Because when that trips, this lights go out. That outlet's controlled by GFCI. This fan is. That outlet and that outlet are all tied in to that outlet. So I'll come over here. This is power going to the outlet. And this is power going out. I'm going to take this wire out of here, put it back in this box, tie it into this. So only this outlet is powered, so if this trips, nothing else trips. Because I got GFCIs and everything else. I don't need it tied into this. I don't need everything going out when this trips. Because I can turn the fan, but lately when I go to turn the fan off, this trips. The GFCI does. So if I am arced, it doesn't like. So I'm just going to rewire that a little bit, and then I'll go ahead and start rewiring all that mess. So I'm going to put a new switch. I'll get rid of this old box. Put a new one over here. Bring this wire down. Just move it over down, trim it a little bit, make it a little bit neater because it's loose anyway, it's old. Alright, progress. So I took this wire out of here, tapped it into here. So now that outlet, all that up there, and that outlet is on its own GFCI. And not controlled by this, so if this trips, the lights won't go out. Move the box over to here, screwed it in instead of nailing it. New light switch, new cover. Just moved it over there, use some staples. Come over here, I talk loud because neighbors are making noise. I'm going to replace this with plastic. Got the new wire hooked up here. Outlet box up there. This is reached there, but that's not going to reach to there. So I still have to use that. I got a special screw and plug for that instead of using that light socket one. Now I'll just staple this to the beam. I can run it along that beam and then up and then over to here. So it's up out of the way of the fan blades. And then like I said, I got to put this wire up here somewhere. But that's the plan so far. So let me continue wiring. Alright, new fixture is in. This one's plastic. They already had a white jumper in this. I put a black jumper in there too. So you got 3 black wires under the 1 wire nut. If I'm correct. I think there's 3. There might be 2. So there's 1 black wire just directly connected to this. Then you have the neutral. 3 neutrals on there. So one of the neutrals is a hot wire. And technically it should be marked with black tape. But in electrical, there's no such thing as color coding. Don't assume it because it's white, it's neutral. I'll explain that in a little bit. Got this wired in now. Tapped off of that into that. So, and that's stapled, so that one's out of the way. So I'll go ahead and turn the breaker on and everything's wired correctly. That'll light up. This will light up, switch is on. When I turn the switch off, they should both turn off. So let me go turn the breaker on and we'll see what happens. We have light. That works. That works. Everything is working. Come over here to the switchy switch. Not the kind your mom used to beat your ass with. Both turn off. Both turn on. So that's wired correctly. Now, I'm going to explain the one-wire switch. So I had looked this up myself. I encountered this once before at a friend's house, doing some wiring on his house. So you only got one wire here. You got the neutral on the bottom, and then a hot on the top. What it is that you got power going into the fixture. And then with the switch acting as a switch for the hot. So basically, the neutral is always live. And you're just switching off the hot wire. So you basically just, you have a switched hot is what you're doing. So you got power coming into here. And then it's hooked up to the neutral or something. And that switch disconnects it and breaks the circuit. So you're basically just switching the hot. I'll have to provide a diagram because it's hard to explain if I even explain it right, but I'll include a diagram. So I understand it now, but I still don't know how to wire it. But anyway, it's tapped into the two wires going to the fixture. Everything's hooked up there. Instead, wrapped it over to here. So this outlet is also switched with that light switch there. So this is on here. That way it doesn't dangle near the fan. And the fan I can rewire with the power off because the fan's unplugged. So I'm safe with that. Got the kerosene heater going for some heat in here. Burn off the old fuel. That fuel is several years old. At least several years old. So let me connect this. I'll turn this power off with the switch, and I can fix and fasten that to staple this wire here up to the beam and stuff, so it's not in the way either. And then we'll come back with the final product. Alright, cover's back on. You can see this cord's now nice and tight up here. Stapled there, up down there, so now it's tucked out of the way. This cable I used to have wrapped around those hooks. So instead I put this back in. Stapled it along there, there. I tried screwing in one of those adapters, this thing here, but combined with this and then the plug, it was too close to the blades, and I know it'd have an absolute fucking fit. So I'll put this back in, and it keeps it up higher, because it would have been like down to here, then sticking down, it's going to be too close, they'd have a fit. So I put this back in. This is plastic, the old one was porcelain, and it was loose too, so this is nice and tight. So everything's nice and tidied up. Now all I need to do is take this wire and put it on either this side or this side. I'll figure out what's easier in a minute. So I'll come back when I reroute this. Alright, wire has been moved. I secured a couple wires too that weren't secured. So now you see it runs along the beam. Goes up over there. And it goes up underneath this wood here. Come over here. Goes up and under. I put the box there now. Had to use a 3/4 inch knockout there. The box is like 2 halves and 2 3/4. I couldn't turn the box away. This wire was that top wire was too short. The one for the power to the ceiling, the supply wire for the fan was too short, so I couldn't turn the box with the wire facing up. I didn't have enough on the main wire. So I had the wire down there, just enough to feed under there. I couldn't get it to go onto the side, and that wire there wouldn't fit through the top. Too short. There's no other way to mount it unless I reran the 1422, so I did it this way and remounted the box that way. So now both wires, I said everything's tucked out of the way of the fan blades. So there shouldn't be any issues now, hopefully. I said that's plastic now. So, and that outlet there is controlled by the light switch too. So everything is now nice and neat and secured. So there shouldn't be any issues. We passed the inspection though, just said didn't want that wire dangling there and didn't want it underneath the beam, wanted it on the side. So I just went ahead and rerouted that because this cord would run along this beam here. The cord wasn't going to reach over there. And then staple it over here just to get it off because I had it wrapped around those hooks. So this way it's all nice and neat and professional looking. So that does it for this one.